Hey guys, Justin here. A lot of people lament week 13 because of the lack of official NASCAR fixed races. I myself cannot build a setup to save my life, so I used to skip week 13 altogether. So this week, I teamed up with Makoni's Setup Shop to give everybody a rocket ship of a C Open set, built by Road to Pro winner and Coke Series driver Donovan Strauss. Link to the free qualifying and race setups are in the description. They are the exact setups I'm going to be using this week's races, besides a slight steering offset change for comfort purposes. So with that being said, let's get right to the lap. Alright, let's take a look at that. So we are going to start at the most important part of the lap, and it's not even part of the actual lap. We're doing the outlap here in 3 and 4, and there is so much time to be gained here, it's not even funny. I counted about a 2/10 difference where if you get it good to where you get it even decent. So let's go over how to do this real quick. So what I do is I slow down majorly even before I get in the corner. You see I'm already under 100 miles an hour or so, about 100 miles an hour, all the way, and I'm barely even entered the corner at this point because my goal is to have speed coming out of the corner, but also have the lowest angle possible because we want to cut down as far as we can coming to the start-finish line. So let's take a look here. So I'm able to carry the speed, not lose the rears. I'm still carrying the speed, but you see here, I'm getting lower and lower and lower, and my goal for when I hit the start-finish line, I want my car to hit at least this point where the start-finish line meets the yellow line, if not lower. If I get it perfectly, I've gotten it perfectly 1 or 2 times before, and it gains me about 4/100ths over what I get right here, and that's when I can keep that momentum and cut it even more like this as opposed to like this. So once we cut all the way to the bottom here, we want to get as close as we can to the pit wall. And then a good point of reference to come back out on the track is the where the blue line meets the yellow line. If you go too much further on the apron, you're not going to be able to set up for turn 1 well enough, and you're going to risk losing a lot of time on entry. So I just played a little bit safe and come back on the track where the blue line meets the yellow line, and now we're in turn 1. So in turn 1 here, it's all about keeping your car pinned on the yellow line and getting rotation throughout the corner. So we can approach this 2 different ways. If you're able to set up your car early, you can dive bomb even a little more than I can. So let's say you kind of dive bomb like, let me redraw that line. You dive bomb like this and you kind of wrap the yellow here. But with my setup here, it is perfectly fine just to go to the bottom, drag your brakes slightly, and just wrap this yellow line as much as possible. So you see the car gets slightly loose under braking, but nothing that you can't handle. And we're just going to keep the car about half throttle. Once we get the car pinned to the yellow line and it's starting to rotate, we're going to get the car to half throttle and start driving the car off the rears here. So you can see I'm holding half throttle about, modulating a little bit depending on if it's getting loose or not. And then right about when we hit where the yellow line and the white line start to separate, that's when we start picking up the throttle a little more. And we can carry that momentum and make the exit of the corner. You might get a little loose there, but it should be manageable. So now let's get to 3 and 4. So 3 and 4 is going to be a fundamentally completely different corner to 1 and 2. And even between this truck and, say, the Arca video I did last week, the approaches to this are completely different. And it's probably because it's a legacy versus this track, but also how the cars drive are completely different. So here we want to almost aim our car directly at the wall down here, trying to get as close as possible while also having a nice arcing angle entering the corner. If we dive bomb this too much, we're going to slide up to the wall too much, and we're going to lose a lot of time trying to keep it out of the wall. So what we want to do is we want to get close to here and then just gradually slide up with a slightly tight condition, maybe driving it off the rears a little bit to get it a little loose, and just being able to carry our entry speed throughout the entire corner. That's what's going to get you the most time here. So you see I get the car almost to the wall, a little bit past it, and then we get our lefts right on the yellow line here. You can't get much closer to the apron than how I got here. And we're able to just keep the momentum. Car is slightly tight here. It's you can understand if you just know the feeling of the car, you're like, okay, this is gonna snap loose pretty soon. So you gotta anticipate it and kind of let the car guide itself to the wall while being able to keep as much throttle in it as possible. So you see here, I'm able to keep it almost about 2/3 throttle, and we'll see when I pick that up one more time here. So we barely drag brake. This is only about 20%, 25% brake. Get it to the yellow, already picked up throttle about 1/3 when I get to the yellow, and just keep smoothly applying throttle until I feel confident that I can use the car's loose condition to power off the corner. So you see, keep it half, half, half. Okay, now I think I can make it. So full throttle, drive the looseness, get the car, little rodeo there, and we're able to keep our momentum across the finish line for a 26.618. Now, because this is an open set race, there's going to be different track temperatures in each race that you're in. So here's a table of different track temps that I tested on and the laps I was able to get in those track temps with this set so that you guys know what to expect. One last note, regardless of the track temperature, you want to approach 1 and 2 pretty much the same. But for 3 and 4, the hotter it gets, the more you're going to want to back up the corner and really make sure you don't slide up the track and hit the wall. Thanks for watching. Again, a big thanks to the guys at Makoni Setup Shop for providing the setup, and I really am looking forward to working with them for the upcoming Road to Pro season. Arca guides will resume as normal starting next week, so I hope you guys tune in for those, and I will see you on the track.